I edit for The Ireland Boys, a channel with over 5 million subscribers, and their audience is mostly younger, which means, you guessed it, super short attention spans. If a video is boring, they're gone. So keeping attention is pretty much my full-time job. And after 10 years of doing this, here's what I've realized. Most videos are boring. Like, painfully boring, but I don't want your videos to be boring. So there are 4 things that we're going to cover within the next few minutes of your time to make sure your videos grab attention, hold it, and leave viewers feeling satisfied. But before we dive in, my name is Zizoff, and I run a free community called Editor Accelerator. It's packed with free resources, a complete editing course, and you can even get your work roasted by me so you can improve way faster. If any of that sounds helpful, you can find the link to join below. But with that said, the first tip to get people addicted to your videos is to have the right mindset. When I first started editing at 10 to 11 years old, I just thought editing was about making things look cool, adding cool effects, epic music, and crazy transitions. And sure, those things are part of editing, but over time, I've learned that that's not what makes an edit good. Editing is not about making something look good. It's about making people feel something. Let's take a look at YouTube. Every YouTube video exists for one of 2 reasons, either to entertain or to educate, and sometimes both. But the best edits, they're not the ones that look good, they're the ones that serve that purpose best. And let's take 2 extremes to illustrate this. Mr. Beast's videos are hyper optimized for entertainment. The pacing, the music, the constant energy shifts, it's all designed to keep your brain hooked. And then there's Alex Hormozi, who is on the complete opposite end of this spectrum. His edits are simple, straightforward, no fluff. And that's because his goal is not to entertain, it's to make complex ideas easier to understand. So does that mean Hormozi's videos are badly edited because they don't have insanely fast cuts and explosions every 3 seconds? Not at all. If you edited his content like a Mr. Beast video, you'd actually be making it worse. It'd be fighting against its own purpose. And in my 10 years of editing experience, I've come to understand that the best edits are the ones where every single edit was intentional. Every cut, every effect, every piece of music, it all played a role in either making the video more entertaining or teaching the lesson of the video better. But you might think that educational channels and entertainment channels don't have much in common with how you edit them. But I would argue that's not true, because ultimately, whether it is an entertainment video or an educational video, people watch videos to feel something, whether it be feeling entertained or feeling inspired. So what I always try to do, regardless of the goal of the video, is get people emotionally invested. If someone is not emotionally invested in your content, they're going to click away no matter how good the other aspects of your video are. And this is why I always try to amplify emotion in my edits. If someone is saying something shocking, for example, I don't just leave it as is. I may emphasize it with music, pacing, and I may even show someone's reaction because people connect with facial expressions. If a scene is supposed to be tense, I'll use a dark music track to build tension, and I'll slow down the pacing. I may make the color grade a bit darker, and then I'll increase this tense feeling with a riser and lead up to a big moment where I then release it with a well-timed hit. And last tip for having the right mindset is the best edits aren't the ones that stand out, they're the ones that disappear. Think about that for a second. The best edits are the ones that you don't notice, the ones that immerse the viewers so strongly in the video they don't even realize they've been watching for 10 minutes straight. And if you want to make people feel something instantly, you have to nail this next tip, because if you don't, viewers will immediately click off the video and will not watch the rest of your video. So tip number 2 is to edit an engaging hook. To explain this lesson, let me tell you a quick story. Like I said earlier, I edit for Ireland Boys Productions, and if you've never heard of them, they do a lot of 24-hour overnight challenges, pranks, and other challenge type videos. But they once sent me a video to edit called Last to Leave Sauna, and right away I noticed a big mistake. For the first 5 minutes of the video, it was just pure talking, setting things up and explaining the rules. 5 whole minutes before the challenge even started. And like I told you, their audience has a short attention span. So as I was watching, all I could think about was, this intro is not good. And that's when it hit me. If I feel this way, the audience definitely will. But that's a problem, because as an editor, my job isn't just making the video look good, it's to make sure people actually watch the video. And if the intro flops, so does the whole video. So if I let them post a 5-minute introduction sequence and it flops, well then I feel like it is my fault as the video editor for not telling them they can do better. So I proposed an idea. What if instead of spending 5 minutes explaining everything up front, we got straight into the action? What if in the first 5 seconds we made it immediately clear what the video is about? No waiting, no fluff, just hook the viewer right away, then sprinkle in the explanations as we go. So that's what I did. I scripted an intro for them in a way that made the challenge clear immediately. This sauna gets up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and whoever lasts inside the longest wins $10,000.
Timer starts now. See you, boys.
No!
They recorded the voiceover, I cut out the slow setup, removed the unnecessary details, and made sure the audience knew exactly what they were getting fast. Instead of wasting valuable time at the start, I worked the explanations naturally into the video after the action had already begun.
This sauna gets up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and whoever lasts inside the longest wins $10,000.
Timer starts now. See you, boys.
No!
But that's not all.
And what was the result? A way more engaging video with much higher retention, a video that ended up outperforming all of the recent videos in views, watch time, and retention, and is now currently sitting at over 1 million views. That's when I really understood the first 5 to 30 seconds aren't just important, they decide whether someone watches the video at all. And in general, the 2 things you want to keep in mind to edit good hooks is to number 1, immediately match the expectations set by the title and thumbnail. Number 2, create curiosity for what's to come later in the video. So for the Ireland Boys' videos currently, we no longer start with 5 minutes of yapping, and instead we start the videos with hype montages showing the best moments of what's to come, and the editing is edited in a way that creates curiosity. That way the audience immediately knows what they clicked on will be a good video, they know the video is truly about what they clicked on, and they are curious to see how it all plays out. And for educational videos like this one, the actual editing is obviously a bit different, but the fundamental strategy is the exact same. Instead of teasing exciting moments to come, I instead tease transformation. If I'm editing a video called How to Build Muscle Fast, I wouldn't start with a lecture on why fitness is important. I'd start by showing the result, a before and after transformation. That way the audience instantly sees they're getting what they clicked on, and their curiosity grows because they want to stick around to learn how to achieve that transformation. I can't stress enough how important the intro is, and I always spend the most time fine-tuning the intro. The best clips, the best pacing, and the most curiosity, because the first 10 seconds will determine if someone watches your video at all. But a strong hook alone isn't enough to edit a video people truly want to watch, because what you do next throughout the video is equally as important. And if you don't do this next step well, viewers will lose interest, they will get bored, they will click off your video, and either you or your client will get worse results. So the next tip is tip number 3, show, don't tell. Here's a quick story illustrating this point. When I first started editing for the Ireland Boys, I made a very common beginner mistake. I used to leave in long moments of pure exposition where basically it was just the boys talking and explaining what they were about to do for minutes on end. The problem is, exposition is typically pretty boring, and I wouldn't add any B-roll, no animations, and very few text overlays. Just straight unedited talking. And for a while, I didn't see the problem. I figured, well, people are watching them, so isn't that enough? But every time I watched these moments back, I always felt the same thing. These moments were boring. And if I felt bored, I knew the audience would too. These were the moments that made me want to click off. And that's when I realized it's because nothing was happening. There was nothing stimulating. It was just talking about what's about to happen. So I started changing the way I edited. Instead of just letting the audience sit there and listen, I made sure to show them what was being said. An example that comes to mind is a video called 24-Hour Overnight Challenge in Construction Site. In it, the boys were explaining their plan for sneaking onto the construction site. Now, I could have just left it as them talking to the camera, but I knew that would be boring and harder to understand. So instead, I added simple animations that mapped out their plan visually. They were talking about rivers, canals, walkways, and even the site itself, so I didn't want to leave it up to the audience to just have to imagine what they were talking about. I showed it. It wasn't some crazy Hollywood level animation, but it didn't need to be. Their audience is younger, so all I needed was something simple to keep things visually engaging and make their plan easier to understand. And for educational videos, this is hugely important. People retain information way better when they see it, not just hear it. And if someone is explaining a a concept, don't just leave them on the scene talking. Add a diagram, add an animation, even a simple text overlay to highlight the key idea. The more you show, the more engaging it becomes. But show don't tell goes beyond just adding b-roll and animations for the sake of making the video interesting. And what I'm about to say is pretty important, so definitely pay attention. Besides using animation and text to explain the ideas, the main way to apply show don't tell is by using visuals and actions to convey information or emotions instead of just words. And if that doesn't make sense, take this example. If someone in a video is sad, rather than including a clip that says, "Oh darn, this guy's sad," you want to instead use editing to show he is sad. Think of a slow zoom on his drooping face, sad music fading in, desaturated colors to drain the light from the scene, cinematic bars on the screen, a vignette added around the edges, and more. By doing this, you are conveying the information that the character is sad without explicitly saying it. This allows the audience to feel the emotion instead of just being told. Because at the end of the day, we don't want people to just watch our videos. We want people to experience them. And in order to truly have our audience experience our videos, we cannot neglect this last tip, because without properly executing on it, your videos will feel flat, lifeless, and struggle to pull viewers in no matter how good your hook or visuals are. This last tip is the thing that will pull people in, keep them locked in, and make them forget about the world outside the screens. So with that said, tip number 4 is to focus on sound. Back when I first realized I could make money with editing, I took a filmmaking course because I wanted to learn how to shoot music videos. But one of the assignments was to film a practice advertisement for a brand that I liked. I chose Gymshark. And when we got to the editing portion of the course, something I didn't expect happened. Instead of focusing on the visuals or the fancy transitions like I had expected, they put a huge emphasis on sound. Music selection, ambient noise, sound effects. Things I'd honestly never paid much attention to before. So I went along with it. I picked a track that fit the vibe, layered in some subtle sound design, and followed the instructor's guidance. But here's the part that shocked me. When I was filming, I knew my footage was pretty bad. More like really bad. The lighting was off, the shots were shaky, and I was using my iPhone to film. It definitely wasn't something that I'd post anywhere. But when I first played the final version with the sound added, it actually felt kind of good. Like, not great, not professional, but watchable. And that was completely because of the sound. And that's when it clicked for me. Sound can literally carry a video. If you have amazing visuals but bad sound, your video will be unwatchable. But if your visuals are bad and your sound is strong, your video will actually feel much more polished, high quality, and will pull people into the video even if they don't consciously realize why. And ever since that course, I've treated sound like it's just as important, if not more important, than what's on the screen. Because here's the thing, sound isn't just background noise, it's what makes your video feel alive. If you want something to hit hard, add a riser that builds tension and then drop it with a perfectly timed hit. If someone says something crazy, don't just leave it flat, emphasize it with a hit, or maybe cut the music entirely for a second of silence. And most importantly, make sure your speaker's vocal audio is clean. I always balance the speaker's voice using a free audio tool called Levelator. It brings up the quiet parts and lowers the too loud ones. It makes everything feel balanced and easy to listen to. You can find the link for Levelator down below. Ultimately, bad visuals might slide, but bad sound is inexcusable and will lose viewers instantly. And when you layer sound on top of strong visuals, a great hook, and editing with emotion, your video doesn't just get watched, it gets experienced. And then once you've applied all of these techniques into your videos, you can make a post about them inside of my free Editor Accelerator community, where then I will either praise you or I will roast you for your application of these lessons, and the many other lessons that I also teach inside of my free editing course. And after that, you just need to make sure you have a solid strategy to land high-paying clients. So this video will give you the exact strategy that I followed to land the Ireland boys, who now pay me over $5,000 per month.